Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. It's good to see that you're willing to face something difficult. It's not trivial to show up to a talk about mental health. Because that subject, mental health, is not just clinical. It's existential. It's moral. It's mythological. It's deeply, deeply personal. And it concerns every one of us. Mental health is not merely the absence of mental illness. That's too narrow, too superficial. Mental health is the capacity to encounter the terrible complexity of life and not be shattered by it. It's the ability to see the suffering in the world, including your own, and still stand up straight with your shoulders back. It's the power to tell the truth when a lie would be easier, to carry your burden voluntarily. That's health. That's real psychological resilience. And we must stop treating it like it's some secondary luxury, some optional enhancement for those who have the time. Let's start with a brutal fact. Life is suffering. That's not a pessimistic statement. It's just accurate. Your loved ones will get sick. You will fail. You'll betray and be betrayed. You'll lose. You'll experience loss. Painful, disorienting, unfair loss. The people you care about most will suffer and die, and so will you. So the question isn't, how do I make life easy? The question is, what makes it meaningful enough that I can bear it? Because if there's no meaning, then there's no reason not to despair. And despair is not a joke. It's not melancholy. It's the disintegration of the self. It's the point at which suffering becomes unjustifiable. And if you hit that point, if you come to believe that your pain doesn't matter, or worse, that it defines you, then you're on the edge of nihilism. And nihilism is a predator. It eats everything you love. It whispers that nothing is worth doing, that you're a mistake, that hope is naive. That's the psychological abyss. And it's real. Now, we have clinical terms for some of these states: depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress, personality disorder, but those are only part of the story. They're useful, of course. I've practiced as a clinician for decades, and diagnosis can guide treatment. But a diagnosis doesn't tell you how to live. It doesn't tell you how to face chaos without falling apart. That's the domain of philosophy, of religion, of mythology. That's the moral terrain of the soul. And the soul, it's a word we don't like to use much anymore, is real. Not because we can measure it like a brain scan, but because it's the part of you that responds to truth, to beauty, to horror. It's the part of you that cares. And your soul is in trouble if you live contrary to what you know to be meaningful. So let's talk about what it means to pursue mental health, not just to avoid suffering, but to aim at something higher, to move from chaos toward order, from fragmentation toward integration. First, clean your room. People think I say that as some sort of joke. It's not a joke. It's a fundamental principle of psychological stability. Your room is the world in microcosm. If you can't bring order to the place you sleep, how can you expect to bring order to the complexity of your life? How can you navigate betrayal, loss, illness, when you can't even confront the dirty laundry in the corner of your own space? You start with what's in front of you. You start where you are. And if you do that honestly, with humility, you'll find something surprising. You're not powerless. See, we've lied to young people. We told them they're victims of society, of their parents, of trauma, of biology. And in some sense, of course, that's true. Life isn't fair. But if that's the only story you're given, then what are you supposed to do? Just give up? Blame? Complain? Sink into resentment? Resentment is a poison. It destroys your capacity for gratitude. And gratitude is the foundation of mental health. If you can't see anything good in the world, you won't want to be in it. And so you'll look for a way out, through addiction, self-deception, or even suicide. That's not melodrama. That's what's at stake. Responsibility is the antidote to that despair, not because it's easy, but because it's meaningful. Responsibility means deciding that your life actually matters, that your behavior matters, that what you do today can make the world better or worse. And that's a terrifying realization, but it's also deeply empowering. If you take responsibility for even one thing, your sleep schedule, your nutrition, your relationships, you begin to change your internal structure. You're no longer a passive victim. You're an agent, and agency is the beginning of healing.